If they're early, I would just say just keep posting, still consume content for sure. Like if you're trying to break into like a space, like a specific niche or whatever, and I see it all the time because this is just with what I did is like I kind of bit off of other people. I kind of stole ideas, and I'm not afraid to admit that.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Plumbing and HVAC Hustle Podcast. And today I'm with Leon Garrett of Kenco Plumbing and Drains.
Yes, sir.
Tell everyone where you're at in the country.
Yeah, so I'm based out of New Hampshire, which is I live about an hour away from Boston. That's where we operate out of. This is where I was born and raised. And this is probably where I'll be for a little bit.
Leon's on the come up as far as a business, but he's figured out one thing really, really well that a lot of people wish they could be good at, which is content. And we're going to talk about why he got started on content, how to balance content creation with running a business, and what is the real value of views and getting attention online. What is the real value? And I think the answer is going to surprise you. So
Oh,
stay
for
tuned.
sure. Yes, sir.
Um, well, just to get started, like how long you been at this, and when did you start the content creation game too?
So I got into the trade in 2018 by chance. It's funny kind of how I met. There's this guy, Zach, that I met at the time, and I was part of a 12-step recovery program, and I met him at a rehab center to where I got asked to speak, and it was during the holiday season, and it was Thanksgiving, I believe, and they do this thing called like an alkathon to where they come and speak, and it runs 24 hours consecutively. It's just a thing that where, say, hey, the holidays is a tough place for some people. So, that's why the program does that. So I got asked to speak at a 3 a.m. slot, and this is like been like the story of my life is that I think that I know everything and I had an opinion on it saying I only get the 3 a.m. slot because nobody wanted it. There's no one's ever going to be there. But when I went and shared my story, this other guy, Zach, raised his hand and said, it was really good hearing you. When I get out of here, I'm going to get my son back, blah, 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 blah. I thought it was all lip service. A few months later, was able to kind of walk him through the process of with what got me out, spiritually, got me better spiritually and mentally. And I walked him through that process. And I was working a dead end job at the time. And he had worked at a local mechanical contractor out of Nashua, New Hampshire. And he said, this is all great fun and stuff. And, he got me to go there and like do like a tryout job or whatever. And I started an apprenticeship, and I had this preconceived notion that, a plumber is just somebody with their, butt crack out and they're plunging a toilet. And this was all brand new construction, multi-residential like business suite that he was working on. And, the first day they taught me how to use a rigid 300 threading machine. I was threading nipples for a header system for, a heating system. So, and from there on out, that first day, I was like completely attracted to it. It's funny because it started that I don't want to go speak at this meeting because it's going to be crappy. It's not going to provide me any value, and it honestly that just going there at 3 a.m. slot. I mean, in retrospect, 8 years ago, that was 2017. I started the trade the very first month, January 2018, and I've been able to, really apply myself to it. And, once the opportunity presented itself, I took it and I took it very serious. And, I'm trying to bleed it, I guess, for all it's worth, which
Yeah.
there's a lot that our industry, that you can do in it. So,
Many homes suffer from inefficient HVAC systems due to leaky ducts, leading to uneven room temps, lost airflow, and higher energy costs. AeroSeal's innovative sealant technology targets and repairs leaks, improving airflow and efficiency. Increase your customer satisfaction, increase sales, and offer a unique market advantage. Become a leader in HVAC efficiency. aeroseal.com.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome, man. And I'm in recovery too, so I
oh,
love
hell
the
yeah.
idea like the being of service led to
Yeah.
such opportunity. And I think that that's kind of a pattern out there is the being uncomfortable, putting yourself in a position to be useful to other people, and then boom, something cool
Yeah.
happens. That's
Exactly.
cool.
And then, like when when God shows up, he shows up and there's nothing that no other human power is gonna it's like it's cliche, but it's true. It's like the stars
Yeah.
align. There was like it in it, and it once you're aligned with that, it's like you get rocketed, and there's it just keeps
Yeah.
if you keep doing with what you need to do, doing the next right thing. Again, another cliche thing, but it's true. It's
Yeah.
like the philosophy works. It's never failed me.
It's profound and cheesy. I've mixed the words. So it's profoeasy. It's profound and
Always.
cheesy, and
Yeah,
it's the best
yeah.
things in life are kind of profoeasy. I think,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, a lot of things that feel basic are the most important things. Um,
Hmm.
and like plumbing, well, it seems so basic, but if you didn't have it, we'd all be sick.
Oh,
So it's
for
like
sure. Yeah.
it could be more important than healthcare because it's literally like if we couldn't do this, we wouldn't be able to have a civilized society, essentially.
Oh, 100%.
So let's talk about the content creation side of things. How long ago did you start doing this, and when did you realize it was gonna lead to opportunity?
Yeah. So I did it based off when I started Kenco. So I finished that apprenticeship when I started in 2018. I did, which took like 4 to 5 years. So as soon as I got my licenses and endorsements, that was the first thing that I did, and it was at a very bad time. But you could talk about that in a little bit. But I started when I started my business in 2023, and I just made an Instagram account and Facebook account only because I thought that that's what a business needed to do. I didn't have intention going in there to start making videos. But once I was on the app, you could download TikTok, you just start scrolling and consuming a bunch of stuff. And then I saw that there were guys in the industry that were actually posting content. And, I looked at it, I was like, man, I was like, seeing like the view counts and everything, and that these people actually had like followers and stuff, it inspired me to start posting. And so probably, after the first quarter of 2023 is when I started the Instagram stuff. And, it started slow, but, you get like a video that does like 30,000 views was like mind blowing to me. Or if you get like, people that are liking it for, you get 50 likes on something that's just like, it was really cool. And then seeing like these people that I saw that I was scrolling, commenting on my videos, and then it just inspired me and kept, building, and it just kept building and building and
Yeah,
building.
I was kind of talking about this before the podcast, but it's for people that think it's everything. I try to be like, well, I've got millions of views and it didn't get me leads, so don't get too crazy. I'm like, it's not everything. It's not like this master key unlock. But on the other side, if you don't see the value of views and comments and stuff like that, I think it is a type of currency. Some
Yeah,
people
for
don't know
sure.
how to do it at all, and they would
Yep.
like you to do it for them. As evidenced by the fact you have sponsors and stuff now. I want to talk about that as well. Um,
Yeah.
but on the other hand, it's like anything that could get visibility is pretty damn important this day and age. So on the one hand, it's not everything, and going viral for viral sake isn't going to necessarily like, be the best thing ever. But on the other hand, if you can figure out how to do this consistently, it is a crazy cool way to get attention. And I want to talk about both of those things, but let's focus on for now the really positive things about it. What is this really brought into your life? Like what good things has this brought into your life?
Yeah. So once the momentum started taking off, I was getting approached by, it started small, which I thought it was really cool in the beginning because, you just are just your own person. There's nothing special about me. I feel like there's nothing special about me. So when I got like approached by like even like an off-brand like Chinese company that makes like work shoes, they were like, "Hey, we'll send you the work shoe." I thought that was really cool. I jumped all over it. Obviously that died down, and then you get like the bigger companies that reach out and send stuff to you, which that's like I translated into like for me personally, the way that I take pride in it and the way that I accepted and am grateful for it is like, you can equate it to like a football player finally getting like, they're not like a Nike shoe, but like getting sponsored by like Nike or something. I look at it in that same sense because I think that's very comparable. And, but then when you start working with the companies, you get to, start going out with them and seeing them in person, and then you really get to see that, with what the company's really about. And then, getting that face to face, like, contact with these people that are, work behind these companies, and even just the other creators, seeing them at events and stuff is, you know that human connection, and building the relationship off that, and like actually making like meaningful personable relationships has definitely been the better thing, the more meaningful stuff out of with what I've gotten out of working with different companies and things like that on social.
Relationships. It's
Yeah,
such a
for
big
sure.
deal. And like, I think people can use this stuff to get more like in addition to sponsors and stuff like that, right? Which is so cool, by the way. Like the fact that plumbing has that, and there's creators, and they're
Yeah.
able to like, and that these brands believe in that and understand the value of that. That's so cool. And then all the people you meet, you were talking about how you've gone on some like creator trips and stuff like that, or you've hung out with
Yeah, for
people and
sure.
done. That's
Yeah.
that to me is like a pretty cool part about being a creator too, because it can expose you to new people that can help you level up.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because you'll see somebody, it's just like anything else, is like you kind of want, you'll see somebody in a position that you admire, and then and that just opens up the thing to, you get different mentors, you get people to lead you. You'd be like, oh, he owns a home service business too. I really like his content. He seems like a good dude. And then you go up and talk to him and kind of pick his brain and just kind of build off of that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so opened so many doors and opportunities, even guys that I've met on there, to where now we're going taking trips together. We can invite each other like to Disney World and stuff. And now our friends, I live in New Hampshire. This guy lives in California. My daughter plays with his son on Switch every night. And it's crazy. It really is.
That's super cool. I'd like to
Yeah.
tell a little story about this too, from my perspective. I've had people like a friend, I guess he's a friend of mine now, who runs an $80 million company and sold another company for 60.
Hmm.
Um, Invited me down to his ranch because he knew that I was because I'm a creator, and it was like a very cool ranch in Texas, and it was for like a get together, right? Like a get together of contractors, and just wanted me to do video and stuff, right? And they're like hunting and stuff. It was sweet, and we've just gotten to be friends, and now we're like collaborating on projects together. And he's like,
Yeah.
picks up the phone for me, and he like tells me how to do stuff that's important for my business.
Mhm.
So like I think like
Yeah.
we have, as a creator, you have a currency that you can use, because you can say, hey, I'm gonna be useful to this guy because I didn't get paid for that. I just jumped on a flight and I just went down, and I'm gonna do it because he asked me to, and I think he's cool.
Yeah.
Um, so all the content that I've created has put me in a position to be around these people that know stuff that I don't know. And you
Hmm.
know that information, good information from people that are winning, is like so valuable. So in my experience too, the podcast has been part of this and stuff like that, where I can like pick people's brains and then get good information behind the scenes too, from just smart people that like know how to do business. And like I'm giving him business, he's giving me business on different things. And I don't know. It's to me, the relationship side, like you said, is just so crucial. And it's like people that only think it's just about money, I think are
Hmm.
missing out a little bit on the amount of good things that can come from content creation.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I mean, that's like really powerful because, it's not really about, you find somebody that's kind of like you said, that they have valuable information you wanted. It's not like you're asking somebody that's just kind of giving you their halfway advice. I mean, having somebody that you can call upon is definitely key, because you need somebody that's has the experience, like, oh, I've been there, this is what I did, this is what I didn't do, for sure. And definitely, like I said, is like, and I've been saying this for a while now, is that, because kind of people get kind of like, I like chewed up is like if you're like authentic and you're just a good person, all that stuff's based on, and you take away social media. If you're just that way anyways, and you lead yourself like that, all that other good stuff's gonna come anyways. You know what I mean? And it's not really like you were saying. They're missing out of the end goal really isn't in the money. It's like you go and say if I get a tool sent to me, I think we were talking about this the other day. Like if somebody sends me like a pair of pliers, like and I like the pliers. Say I'm being dead honest. Like I think that this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in the world. And they pay me, or say if it's not even like that, it's like I'm gonna take that pliers. I'm gonna post it 10 times, even though they wanted it
Yeah.
only once. And yeah.
Well,
So
it's crazy because then it just attracts other sponsors too. That's my
yeah,
thing. Is
right,
like
yeah,
when I was first getting into a little bit of that, and I haven't done as much of that, but I was so proud. I'm so
oh
proud
yeah.
to have sponsors. It's so cool. So I think that there's something to that too, because it's a fun game. And then yeah, once people start sending you free stuff, and if there was a younger guy who's in the trades that wanted to get um, more sponsors, but maybe even just more visibility. What are the things that have cracked that open for you? I'm sure like once you get that 30,000 views, you're like, I'm gonna get my first million. Um,
Yeah.
but like what are some of the things that really helped you take off on your content creation? Go follow them right now, by the way. It's Kenco NH, right?
Yeah, so it's Kenco Plumbing NH for it's not for in and heating, it's just Kenco Plumbing NH for New Hampshire.
And
Yeah.
that's on TikTok and Instagram. Great places
Yeah,
to
yeah.
follow, right?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Facebook and YouTube too. So you find like all the shorts and everything there. But, like I said, that's what I was getting into. Like that first 30,000 views is kind of where like I started. And I got really emotional too because people didn't like the way that I installed like one thing and I got like super insecure about it. I got over that very, very fast, but I was new to it. I was like kind of like
Yeah.
I didn't understand that this was going to be like a continuation. You could post something that's freaking.
Yeah.
I posted stuff that it's been like I made it so I knew it was going to be flawless because because I that was the vision for it, and you still get people in the comments that are like whatever. But after like that first 30,000 views, and then like I was saying, the creators that I was kind of looking up to at the time, they would start following and engaging with me, and that was like, oh man, this is actually like a really cool thing. And then I talked to him in the DMs, and there's this other kid, plumbing skater. He was the one that was with me at AHR last week. He's been like you know he's always been like a big creator. Like up here is like we're kind of with where I've put him. But even since I had like less than 10,000 followers, he's always been like, because you get discouraged just in anything, because I'm trying to like actually do
Yeah.
something with content creation, and then
Yeah.
with having the business as like I was just kind of like being like I'm just gonna focus on the business now, and then I'd stop
Yeah.
giving time to content. And
Yeah.
there's another guy, Winnie Designs. He does home renovations and just like DIY stuff. He's got like millions of followers, and he's actually in my area. He invited me to. So when that started happening and just kind of being like, they saw like the value of like, you actually make good content. You should not give up and keep posting because this is what it's
Yeah.
done for me. It's like, it's that was really it for me is when I like started to see like view counts go up, and then just kind of other people going into my DMs, like being like, oh, they all know me by
Yeah.
Leon now, but like a lot of people just call me Kenco or whatever. That's like what people call me. But it was that is like, and then him, the big thing was just seeing how, kind of seeing me and Misha did like a first video together, and I saw how serious he took it. Like this wasn't like I'm gonna set my tripod up and we're just gonna hammer this thing out. It was like
Yeah.
you got to be quiet while I'm recording, and like,
Yeah.
and I was just like taking the
Yeah.
lead, and he's like it was very. It showed me a whole nother level of like how like deep this thing is, because you can treat it like a business too, and if you actually
Yeah.
if you actually do take it serious, like it can be like a full. I know to talk about money again. It can be like a full like
Yeah.
you could do it like full time. Like you could close your
Yeah.
business. I would never do it, but you could close your business down and just do content
Yeah.
if you understand how to make the consumable viral content. You could literally
Yeah.
just be like you can go and be like the face of these companies and just like do home renovations or whatever, and make a studio where you might have like a plumbing wall set up and it looks like you could stage it and do whatever with it, you know?
Um, that is, yeah, when I'm getting around these people that are doing this really well, right? Like for instance, like this last 3 weeks, I like went to these events. I'm going with Mr. Fat Cheeto. There's a guy in roofing called Best Damn Roofer, and another guy at roofer TikTok, Austin Blumquist. And like I'm
Yeah.
like, and I don't party at these things in Vegas. I just literally like work at night, and I'm not
Yeah.
like I'm not just I'm just sober, so I don't feel like going out to
It's the
whatever.
same thing with
So
me. Yeah. Yeah.
so I just go edit. But I'm like back and forth with these creators that consistently get millions of views like every week or whatever. And so I'm like, I'm sending them an edit and then I'm getting the feedback. Like this is I'm paying them for this, by the way. I'm paying them to be there at these events. But like then I'm getting their operating system downloaded into my brain. So like from my point of view,
Sure.
like there's a ton of value to views. There's a ton of value to understanding like what is currency about it, and then to use it in trade for different things, and then also because it's not money all the time, but it is something people want. Like old
Yeah.
rich guys wish they could get millions of views. Like, and so like, what can I use my stuff for that is useful for my business, and how can I get the skills of other creators into my brain, and then also like cool people. There's a lot of cool people that I get to hang out with and learn about all the newest stuff in the industry. And being a creator also gets you opportunities to see new, cool, innovative stuff. I think too.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because if you work with a company, you get to see everything that's in the pipeline to come, and to see all that. And, Mr. Fat Cheeto, it's funny because I took a picture, when we all three took a picture together, me, you, and Mr. Fat Cheeto. I sent it to one of our apprentices here, and he's like, "Oh my God!" Like people look at
Yeah,
these people like he's freaking,
yeah,
famous, like he's like Will Ferrell or something. He's like, "How did you
yeah,
meet him?" I'm like, "I don't know." He walked up to me with a
yeah,
microphone, and we recorded a video together. It's like I don't know. It's like these people are humans too, and this
yeah,
is,
yeah. Exactly. What would you say to a young, we kind of talked about the things that popped off for you. Is there anything else that you would suggest to other creators that are on the come up in this game? Like, what would you say to them if they're early?
if they're early, I would just say just keep posting, still consume content for sure. Like if you're trying to break into like a space, like a specific niche or whatever, and I see it all the time because this is just with what I did is like I kind of bit off of other people. I kind of stole ideas and I'm not afraid to admit that. And now I think I gotten to the point where I'm finally starting to really open up and like share who I really truly am and finding myself as. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's actually sounding crazy saying that out loud. But in the
Yeah,
beginning, I was consuming a lot of content. I saw with what people were doing with the viral videos that were doing well, and then I just replicated like the whole style. Like after I saw Misha and we did a video together, I really replicated that hard for like 2 years after that. Whenever I did make new content, which was like an ASMR type edit, then I've now just recently is like I started getting way more engagement with doing like the voiceovers and stuff. But and this applies for anything is like because I see a kid that I know that's in my area really he's actually one of my really good friends, but he's not trying, he's consistently posting like food content, but I from the way that I see it is like he's doing it wrong, but he's not doing it wrong, but I already am like analyzing on like how he could make this video better because he's like talking while he's doing it. But if he just like had like the ASMR of the food being cooked while he's doing
yeah,
the voiceover over the video. Like that's how I feel like you turn it into like more engaging and kind of getting that out. And I watch like a lot of Mr. Beast stuff too that like gets me motivated with content also of like, just kind of seeing how he started to where he's at. And like if he really there's like a 2 hour long montage of him on YouTube that somebody cut up and it's like all the best advice of with what he implements in the content creation is like, especially if you're doing like short form content is like, sometimes you got to be edgy. You got to kind of like push the limits a little bit, at least for me. Yeah. It's like
Hey,
just get like that first three seconds of somebody's time. I don't know to get them hooked.
so sorry, I had to change locations, but talking about the hook, how important that first 3 seconds is. I'm a huge Mr. Beast disciple as well. Like I like literally look at the stuff he does and I'm like, I want to be more like that. However, running a
Yeah,
business is such a full-time thing. Sometimes like you were talking about watching other people's stuff and kind of R&Ding.
yeah,
That gets low on my list. You know what I mean?
for sure.
I
Yeah,
literally press publish and log off sometimes.
yeah.
Um, how do you make time for the R&D process? That like what does that actually look like to you? Do you take 20, do you like have a time during the day where you're like, all right, I'm gonna go take 20, 30 minutes and just like scroll TikTok, and where do you look personally?
Yeah, so a lot of it honestly has been on Instagram. Like everything has been Instagram where I've like consumed. That's where I've made my best relationships is to the Instagram's DMs, where it all started, where I started scrolling. I'll still scroll other apps and stuff, but it's primarily Instagram. And then I'll just, once because you'll get if you do this for years you'll have, and if you're consistently posting you'll see with what works and with what doesn't, and then you can do something that I do a lot, which is like I'll take a video that did well and then I'll take that same video, take a part out of that video or do like a new video out of it of like a voiceover, and then I'll just kind of do it from there. I don't really have a specified time. The best content that I've made has honestly been like on the spot where like I wake up or I'm just while I'm scrolling, I'll find like something that'll just get me thinking, and I'll be like, I'll look at one video one day and be like, this isn't a good video to post. Then I'll come up with like an idea of something to put over that video, and then I get like it's like a feeling. It sounds weird, but I'll get like a feeling of like I want to do this video with like this voiceover, and then it just comes out kind of good, and then I post it, and it's like it either does good or it doesn't, and if it does well, then I'm gonna make a duplicate of that video, and then I'll post it like 6 months again from now, just to kind of please like you get new audience, plus you're kind of pleasing like you're still getting like
For
that
the
engagement and
boards?
everything because
Yeah,
yeah, right,
yeah,
just
I
like
like
all
that.
filler stuff, which I've been doing a lot of lately because like you said, I gotta the business has to come first, and it's yeah, the business comes first, and when things start getting serious you gotta kind of, there's really no balance. I don't know how to balance it. That's why I'm trying to get processes and get new people to kind of fulfill. Because I've been doing a lot of field work. I don't want to. It's to the point if this needs to grow, I can't keep being the one that does the field work all the time. So, and when I get freed up to do that, I'm gonna go like super. My plan is I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna focus like say I spend 10% of my time on content, I'm going to switch that to like, a higher, like 50% maybe. Because I got a page that comes out and records me. After I went and met with Misha, I saw kind of, like, I learned a lot, and, now it's more than just a tripod. Now I can have, my fiance Paige hold the phone for me and she can get the better angles and stuff. And I'll redo something like to state because it is staged in a sense, but I'm on a real job site, but I have the luxury of being like, hey, you saw that from that end, and I'm not just setting up the tripod working because I've done that and got my back, and it's like I wish I could go back and do that. So that's another thing. I get like second chances with having Paige with me, and she can record me and be like that. That was like ass, or like maybe the dog was barking upstairs, and it's just not like it doesn't sound right on the phone, or on the audio because the dog was losing his mind upstairs.
Yeah, it feels like the ability, like Instagram is dope because it's like the ability, like we talked about trial reels recently, like you can
Yeah,
do
yeah.
a bunch of different things. I also like the idea of like just capturing a lot of stuff and then coming back later and like figuring out what the story is, because
Yes.
sometimes you just know it's a good looking project, or it got some interesting aspect but you don't know exactly what the video is going to be like, but capture, like I like capture and then come back later and figure out what's good. And then
Exactly.
you can trial, if people don't know, trial reels right now, and it's publishes it to everybody that's not your audience, so you can get more
Hmm.
followers and you can just try a bunch of stuff. I had a bunch of loose ends from this last couple of trade shows, and I just went and like published it all. Sorry about the
For
one.
sure.
I published
Yeah,
one.
no.
We won't say what it was, but I asked Leanne a spicy question, and I published it, and we got a brand mad at us. But
Yeah.
the point is you can take 15 things that didn't get used and try stuff on them and see, and then you can see the top three and publish those. It's a very cool opportunity, but it feels like too Instagram, there's a lot of opportunity now. From my point of view, memes is one thing where you can overlay over something that was interesting looking, but then make it into a meme or like inspirational, or you can overlay text. And I think these days that's something where it doesn't have to be a 40-second or 5-minute thing. It could be a 17-second thing with some overlay, and
Absolutely.
can do really ridiculously well for some reason. I don't know what this new algorithm is, but it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, with what, because I get people that ask me all the time, and I will just simply say is like, kind of go back, see with what's doing well, because good content's good content. If it's a good piece of content, it's going to go well. I mean, it's just going to do well, and that's just the facts of it. If it's engaging, it gets people talking. It's satisfying to watch. That's really with what I see that works. If it's good, it's good, and obviously you got to go through that trial phase. But and you just kind of brought something up is like I feel like if you just document everything, because that's a great point. That's kind of with what I was saying is that there's stuff that I recorded a year, 2 years ago that I'm just starting to post now because I didn't know how to implement it and, get it out there to where it was like acceptable to me, I guess, or that I felt comfortable posting. Like there was something that I did like 6 months ago with like a septic tank lid, and I took like 3 videos and did it into one like informative thing of like, starting at the septic tank instead of like starting inside to snake a drain or something. It was like it was something that I thought was trash that was just in my camera reel, and I took it and the video did okay. Like it didn't go viral, but it didn't do bad either.
Would you say that posting things more than once is something a lot of creators should learn to do?
Yeah, absolutely. Because especially if you're trying to get that engagement up, because you kind of use that as, I'd like to use it as leverage, or not leverage, but just to get the facts together. If you're trying to sell yourself, if content creation is what you want to do and you want partnerships with brands that you use and stuff, that's getting all that information is important. And if you can consistently post and have like that data log of this is how many accounts I get engaged, I don't think that there's anything wrong of you watch Ridiculousness, right? That show's been off. They stopped making that show probably, I don't know, a long time ago. And every time MTV's on, I see freaking Ridiculous. It's on,
Yeah, yeah,
the whole day. So it's like
yeah,
it's the same thing. It's the same
yeah.
freaking thing.
That's good. Yeah, and I think I think that the thing people get confused about is the fact that like they think everyone saw it every time they publish. It's like, even if it was a million people, dude, that's such a small percentage of the population. And like almost sure a few people will re-see something, but most people are not gonna um see it. I mean, most people are not seeing your posts almost all the time, even if you get
Right.
tens of thousands and millions of views. Um, it's wild, and you know this because you'll be like, "Well, I got like, what's the most a video that you posted ever got views wise?"
So it was like 16 million views on like Instagram, and that was like the
What
big
was
one
it,
for
by the
me.
way?
It's a pinned at the top of my profile. It was a
Yeah,
Bradford White heat pump install, and I was very surprised that it did so well because it was a long format. Like I think it was like a 9 minute long video, and I was like honestly proud of that. And I implemented with what I learned from watching Misha. It was kind of his whole inspiration and style, and that's what I did on that video. And I've reposted that video. That was less than a year ago. I've taken like 5 pieces of content from that same video. I've compressed it down to 3 minutes long. And I've, taken one thing and reposted it again in that 3 minute long form. And then I've done like voiceover over it. I actually just reposted it the other day.
yeah,
And yeah, that was like the one I was like, damn. Like, and I was proud of that because I was really aiming to that was when I started working with Bradford White, and that was actually my first video that I posted with him, and it ended up like doing super well. So I was like really happy and proud about that because it made us all look, it made everybody look good.
That's awesome, man. It's funny because there will still be people that didn't see that, even though you would have thought they would have, right? You're like, hey,
Yeah,
did you see that? And they're
exactly.
like, no, I didn't see that. It's like, I posted it 5 times and it got 20 million views total. Like, how did you never see it? Or whatever. It's like, well, there's just a lot of people.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people out
exactly.
there. That's really cool that that was the big one so far for you. And I want to see more of your stuff. And where can I go if I'm somebody out there that wants to? Let's give your handles and stuff again here.
Yeah, so it's at Kenco Plumbing NH across all platforms, uh, and like I said, we'll get there. I think later this year. Because obviously we're working with you now. That was like a key thing into our
Yeah.
business this year, and I'm very excited about that.
Yes, sir.
Once we kind of continue to build and we get different processes and everything all set up. Obviously the business comes first before anything, but once I get to that point, which I think that it's definitely attainable this year in the near future, that I'll be more of a professional, I guess, like content creator where I'll spend most of my time doing this, and being informative too. I'm not just somebody that woke up one day that decided to be a plumber. Like during my apprenticeship, I mean, and I take pride in this, is like I was trained by like a lot of great guys, so I do feel like for what I do know, for with what I am knowledgeable about, I'll still always try to continue to do that. Like, because my main thing is like, you said about meeting, like getting personal relationships and stuff too. When you get like the coolest thing is when you get an apprentice and they ask you like, oh, when you were here, what did you do there? And just and getting people like, hey, I went back and watched your video, it really helped me. You were very informative on this part. And then it's like, oh, your story's very inspiring, it makes me want to go out and do the same, or I've been through the same thing too. And it's just that all around connection, like full circle thing, is like it's more than just working with like the big brand or whatever. It's
Yeah.
just kind of like go back to just being a service, and that's kind of like goes back to like me being in that 3 a.m. thing. That's kind of my whole thing of yeah, everything. So that's more
You
important
know
to me.
what? I love that, dude.
Yeah,
I hope I'm part of that. I hope you're part of that for me. That there's some
likewise.
purpose here beyond just
It
hopefully
is
growing your business, and but I do hope that that's part of it as well. I just
for
think it's
sure.
really discouraging sometimes when you're a content creator and people come at you, and to a degree sometimes people come at you pretty hard. You feel like you're doing the right thing, but then sometimes I'm like, well, I am getting a result I don't want, people fucking with me,
Yeah.
and how could I change my behavior so I wouldn't have as many of them fucking with me? And the thing I come to is like I could publish less on the internet.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
right.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
because it's not always that good for my business. It's
No, it's
sometimes
not.
I wonder if it's for my ego or something like that. And so
Mm.
but ultimately it has been good for my life if I'm really honest. So like, how do you deal with all that as a creator? Like the amount of negative feedback that you get.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that's you saying that just kind of made me come to a realization is that that's just like something I got to look inward, because I like the views. It's a good feeling when you see a video go off. I'm just that's just the truth. If anybody else tells you otherwise, they're lying straight to your face. It's a great feeling when you see a video go viral. It really is. You're like, I did it. But sometimes I'm going viral for the wrong reasons, and it's probably making me look less professional at the cost of just making it look like just for the cost of like engagement, I guess. Because I'll post something that I know is wrong, and I'll do a thing to where I make it look like it's true. But if one of my customers went and looked at that, they're gonna be like, what the like it's
But
fucking
that so
these
that's
people are
so that's
fucked.
rage bait. But if as long as you're
Yeah,
doing it knowingly, my thing is like in that case, okay, the amorality for a second of content creation. As long as you do it knowingly, at least, then when you get those negative comments, you're like, well, I fucking knew I was doing that anyway. So
Yeah.
you probably don't take it so personally, at least. Because what I don't like is when it's like goes after me personally or whatever. And I think putting myself, like, because I was talking about like speaking in front of a lot of people or
Mm.
putting myself out there, like, this is my whole soul, like my belief in God and my recovery and all this stuff. I put it out there totally, and then somebody goes for my jugular, like somebody still tries to mess with me, then I'm like, obviously that hurts a lot more.
It
So it's like,
does.
how, because you were saying sometimes people have messed with you like knowing your whole story, and you're like, oh man, my
Yeah.
whole story and you're still taking a shot.
Exactly. So it's funny because it wasn't like a keynote thing, but I wanted the opportunity because like something's always moved me. Like I've had like profound experiences going out and speaking at in a 12-step program, and I've been taking a step back from it, whatever. There was like years removed where I didn't go out and do any commitments or anything that because I removed myself from it. I'm like doing different things now. And at the Bring Back the Trades event at Gillette Stadium, I wanted to be able to kind of re-spark that inspiration. And I was underprepared, and it sounded like somebody that was just like a novice, like brand new. And I like poured my heart out on that stage, and I may like not have delivered the message the way that I really wanted to or that I envisioned, but it still came out and I had those people come up. But I also had negative feedback to where this guy came up. He's like, "You don't do this much, do you?" And I'm like, "Bro, I just told
Yeah.
you." I just went as like I like crawled back and I'm
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm like,
Yeah.
you're like, what are you saying to me right now,
Yeah.
dude? I was
Oh
like, this is
man.
like, I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's a
I knew
whole
that. Yeah,
That's that
fucked with
one.
me
I mean, it
bad.
is a whole. Yeah, you're like, I just told you that. I'm an honest.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but dude, I've been speaking a lot the last couple of years, like 30, 40 times, right? And like two of the big dogs in roofing, because it's like my oldest industry, have told me directly to my face. Like the two biggest influencers told me I was shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but like
Oh,
both of them, well, at least one of them has come back and said like, you know, positive stuff after that. But what I'm saying is like, you got to persist nonetheless. Like, and those people forced me to improve like significantly. Like, so whether or not I liked the feeling, I went hard to learn it. Like to me, that whole thing, like I've invested a lot of time and energy and money to get better at speaking. Anyways, the point is like sometimes something really negative feeling at the time could then end up being something that like ends up being it made you level up.
yeah, no, that's definitely my life story. I mean, you look at me, I came from, living out of a freaking backpack where I had athlete's
Yeah,
foot because I wore the same socks for 2 weeks straight, and I had a cell phone
yeah,
belt, a cell phone charger as a belt, and it had no professional recognition at all. And just coming up and like, just seeing somebody come from that, that's just what you get that everywhere,
yeah,
and that's been my motivation to kind of be like, just to prove them wrong. It's always going to be the fuel for me to like feed that fire of, I know I have a burning purpose. I know I have burning desires to go out, whether I want to be a keynote speaker and share my experience on how, these young entrepreneurs or people that want to, start their own businesses and try to help them implement things in daily practices into their own lives. And saying it the way that you are trying to say it, we're all human. It's on the spot. It, just happens. It's just like with anything, people saying that in the beginning that I wasn't going to be able to, have a successful business, that I was stupid because the timing was wrong and blah, 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 blah. I knew in my heart that this was what I wanted to do and I'm going to do it. And if I don't do it, I just feel like, we were at a customer's house yesterday, and, Paige said to me, she's like, oh, and she like lived by herself, and like and there's nothing wrong with this, but it was in a mobile home and she's by herself. She didn't really have much. And she's like, this seems like she's happy though. She's cozy. I'm like, that's like my biggest, that's like my
Yeah.
biggest fear is just like accepting with whatever life throws at you. If somebody tells me I'm this, I'm that, and you listen to it, that's where you're going to end up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just me of just, my stubbornness or just my ego is always going to,
Yeah.
serve me in that way. Is that if, obviously when somebody says something and affects my self-esteem, I feel less than, and then I get angry, and then I get fearful, and it just boosts that ego of just like, what, I'm going to show them.
Yeah.
And it served me. I may trip up and, say things I don't mean or do things I don't mean in the moment, but, my life experience is like I've got there no matter what, and it's always been from those things that people say to me, you can't do this, or you did this wrong, or you did that wrong,
Yeah.
and
I
it's
tell
just
you,
coming
like,
from
it can,
critical, and it's not
yeah.
constructive at all. It's just someone looking
Yeah.
at you and being like, dude, you need to like go away or something. It's like, I'm not though,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. This last week, I had like three people in a row, like take a weird shot.
Yep.
And that was like, literally, I was like, should I stop posting? And it's like, maybe it doesn't feel like a big deal to them, but when you put yourself out there in some way and then people are taking shots, I
Yeah.
think creators can, besides the fact like life that sucks, but creators can basically decide to not create, you know. And maybe it's fine if I don't publish for a few days, but if I'm not publishing for weeks on end, I probably am hiding.
Yeah.
And you're talking about using Gemini to like brainstorm for, and I think I think people should use that like for like you're talking about for
Ideas.
voiceovers and stuff like
Yes.
that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I use my AI as a therapist, and it was like
Me too. Me
I
too.
was
It's
resisting.
crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, I was resisting publishing something that I knew I needed to publish, which was like putting myself out there and like saying I want to speak at more stages. So like I was resisting publishing that, and like as I was doing this with the AI, it was like it's weird to talk about. It's kind of my friend,
Dude,
you
I'm
know,
laughing
and it was
because
like,
I've been doing the
yeah,
same thing. Yeah.
it was like so you're not going to publish that because you're scared of what people think, because you're scared people are thinking you're like, but it's like it's in alignment with your principles to keep going. So
Yeah.
like staying aligned with my principles and keeping going even when people say negative stuff, because people saying negative stuff is often a reflection on them, not on me as a creator or as a professional.
No, I agree with that 100%. And it's funny because I've been using the AI bot for the same thing. And I actually brought it to this guy that I talk to a lot. He's been helpful with me throughout my whole journey. And I brought it to him. And it's funny because his response is like, he's like, F that godless shit or blah, blah, blah. He's like, you need
Yeah, yeah,
to.
yeah.
But,
Yeah.
it was,
Well,
I gave,
because you could see like, okay, if you're not praying and you're only
yeah,
using your
like,
AI to like be your therapist, but it's like, hey, do both. I
yeah,
don't know. I
exactly.
get how some people who aren't as familiar with that stuff could say that's like, I get it. I get what they're saying. I think in general it's a positive thing for me, and frankly, I
Me
think,
too. It helps me.
anyways, I don't know. I don't think we're going to solve the theology of that right now, but I think
No.
definitely an interesting perspective either way.
Well, I told you, you know your principles, and like I was saying in the beginning, is like my experiences. If I follow that, like that moral, whatever it is like it's never failed
Yeah,
me. I mean, we both know
yeah,
what the right thing is to do, and when you get to that level of just like being a human being or like a individual man, whatever you want to say, it's like there's with what the wrong thing is when it's like to take a knee. There's like a difference between taking the knee, and I've had to learn this the hard way, is like taking the knee and then just doing with what's right, whether it affects anybody, just to like kind of, to I guess, support like your moral code or, your principles of what you believe to be right, whether that be like your family or your aspirations, desires. Every time I've leaned into that, it's never failed me.
I think that's a really good note to round it out on.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I'm gonna let that play out the end of the podcast right there.
Hell yeah.
Um, all right, Leon, thanks for doing the extra chunk. I think that there was like some substance there that we felt but weren't going into. It was good to get that in the podcast as well.
I agree. You should do it again real soon.
All right, I loved it, dude. Thanks for hanging
I
out.
love it too. Yeah.
All right, man. I know they're like onboarding stuff and whatnot is getting to you, you guys in the next hour or so. So appreciate you, man.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
All right, bye.
Peace.
I can't commend Hook Agency enough on just the experience. We're talking about plumbing experience, but the experience we've had overall working with your team members on this project, they really draw out ideas that otherwise I didn't even think of, which is incredible. So thank you guys for being a valued partner of the Family Plumber. I really appreciate that.